the time when we are critiquing professional wrestling, we're critiquing what's happening in the ring. We're critiquing a promo. We're critiquing the words. And sometimes I really don't feel like doing that. There's a lot of people doing that. But you know what I do have expertise in? You know what I can have an opinion on? Hair. I'm a hairstylist by trade. That is what I know. That is what I do. Now, over the years, wrestlers have had many different hairstyles depending on how long they've been in the business. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna compare 2 different hairstylists to one wrestler, and we're gonna pick which one is my favorite. Sometimes I'll have a great reason, sometimes I won't have that great of a reason, but that's kind of the fun of it. I can do whatever I want. Before I start showing you the do's, please make sure that you smash that like button, hit the subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications to make sure you're notified every time that I make a new video. It's been really busy lately. I know I haven't been super consistent. I am still bouncing between my real-time job and making content, and I really want to make more content. So the more that you support me, the more that you subscribe, the more that I can put stuff out. Now let's get to it. Hot water lately. Let's start out with a bang. CM Punk. Long hair versus the buzz cut. He's had other styles between that, but we are just going between the 2. Pepsi Phil, bruh, I'm gonna be honest with you. The long hair, especially in this particular photo, it's looking a little greasy. It's giving I don't shower. It's giving I don't care. The buzz cut looks pretty clean. He looks quite healthy in the photo where he has the buzz cut. I can't attest to his personality. At the time of this recording, AEW All In just occurred at Wembley, and there was an altercation between Jack Perry and CM Punk. I don't give a about that. I don't work backstage at AEW. I don't like to have an opinion on things that have happened backstage when I'm not there. That was a conversation and a fight between A and B. I was not there to see it. We're going with buzzcut CM Punk. Ooh, next up, Le Champion, Chris Jericho. There were a few different versions of the short hair, and I actually really enjoyed Chris Jericho during his short hair days. His run with Kevin Owens in the list was probably one of my favorite things he's ever done. And that's the coolest thing about Chris Jericho, is that he's multifaceted. He's been able to reinvent himself multiple times, and for that reason, he really is one of my top 5 wrestlers. That ponytail though, that bleach blonde ponytail, not technically babyface Chris Jericho, but babyface. He was really young. I love that debut that this picture is from. Chris Jericho is one of my all-time favorites. We gotta go with ponytail, fountain on the top of his head, Chris Jericho. It's Sting! It's Sting! Now you would think that I would just go with tried and true. Crow Sting. Iconic. You know, really what you think of when you think of Sting. He's still on television right now in that same garb, but something about that bleach blonde flat top mullet just, it hits. It's beautiful. You can even see the little bit of like the rat tail in the back. I actually don't know a lot about that version of Sting. People tell me to do the face paint for it in my streams all the time, but I'm gonna go with that little flat top mullet thing. I want to say it's different, but pretty much every boy under the age of 25 at this point has had it. Bleach blonde Sting. Bring it back, Sting. Bring it back. Oh, this is actually difficult. We have Hugger Bailey versus the menace of Bailey that we see today in Damage Control. Bailey is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. I appreciate her versatility, the way that she was completely able to reinvent herself at a time where the crowd was really turning on her. The moment where she turns on the Bailey Buddies is so iconic, and I genuinely was both excited but also sad because I knew that the character change needed to happen, but I wasn't ready for it. She's proved that she was ready for it. The growth that she's had since changing her gimmick, being a heel, I would have never thought that Bailey would be able to be as great of a heel as she is. Hair-wise, I am digging the A-line bob without being a Karen, the red. The longer it's getting right now, I actually really like it. I think she wears it really well. I mean, it was super cute when she first had it done too. It was more stacked and she was able to shave. I think she shaved Michael Cole's name in the back of the undercut at one time. I am going to go with the bob version of Bailey, heel Bailey. She's killing it. She's going to continue to kill it. Go Bailey. Hey, Bailey. Ooh. I wanna know, will you be my girl? Oh, it's my boy, it's my dog, it's Brock Lesnar. I'm not gonna say that I was a day one Brock Lesnar girl. I wasn't. I really wasn't a day one Brock Lesnar girl, but in the last couple of years, he's really won me over. I think that the story goes when he started growing his hair out on the top, it was a dare from his son, where his son told him that he didn't think that he could grow a ponytail, and Brock Lesnar was basically like, bet Let's go. When he first started doing it, it did kind of look like the top of an onion. It was very onion dome. I didn't understand it. The longer that it's gotten, he's been doing kind of the more Viking braids, and I think it's super cool. I equate ponytail Brock with the version of Brock that I like the best, Cowboy Brock. His personality has shined through a lot more since splitting from Paul Heyman. He's been able to speak on his own and prove that he can speak. For this reason, I am picking ponytail Brock, braided Brock. We love you, Brock. We stand. Character development. Oh, Miss Molly Holly. I remember when I think it might have been Hall of Fame that she came to. It was the first time I'd seen her with the short dark hair. I didn't even know it was her. I think most people, because of how I look, they would expect me to say that I like, blonde, classic Molly Holly. Nah. I at one time had that short pixie cut for about 4 or 5 years when it was really popular. I think it suits her so well. She has such a lovely, beautiful face. It shows off her bone structure. I'm sure the maintenance on that hair color is way better than having to put up with blonde. Trust me. We stand short hair Molly. It's super cute, and sometimes it's really hard to pull that kind of thing off. Also, having short hair like that just proves that you are gutsy, because not every woman will walk into a hair salon and have the gall to ask for it. We love short hair Molly. Oh, it's mommy, everybody. Okay, so 2 completely different people in these pictures, right? I remember when Rhea first cut her hair, she was talking about the evolution of going from that longer blonde hair version of her to who she is now. There were a lot of comparisons between her and Charlotte Flair, and they do have similar structures. They have similar features. They're both very athletic, very strong. I get wanting to distance yourself from someone on the level of Charlotte Flair. Her blonde hair is beautiful. Her long hair is beautiful. She's beautiful no matter what. That short hair mommy, though, I think she's currently in the stage of growing it out on current television. She has more of like a shag deal going on. She built herself around that short haircut. It set her apart. I love it. I love that she had the guts to do it, and I love that people appreciate it. You don't hear a lot of people talking bad about the short hair or her features or that she is muscular. I think we're shifting into a different era where we're appreciating strong women. We're appreciating women that are gutsy and aren't so apt to go along with the norms. For that, we are picking short hair mommy. Oh my god, this is super easy. Bleach hair Shelton Benjamin or bald Benjamin. They both hit. Okay, bald men, hats off to you. That is not an easy decision to make. That's not an easy look to pull off. But that white bleach blonde hair, also not an easy thing to achieve on very dark hair. It's giving Dennis Rodman, and I love Dennis Rodman. I think it's a look. Blonde hair Shelton Benjamin. I wish we got to see more of Shelton Benjamin in modern day wrestling. He still is one of the best to ever lace up a pair of boots. Another bleach blonde baby. Cody Rhodes. Whoa! This is a difficult one for me because there are days that I really love the bleach blonde hair, right? There's days where I'm like, it's fresh, it's new. Then there's days where his roots are growing out or he needs a toner. You don't know what I'm saying? You're not a hairstylist. Or you don't have a woman that has blonde hair. But classic, dashing Cody Rhodes with his natural dark locks. He was dashing. Not that he isn't still dashing. I'm having a really difficult time deciding. And I don't want to make a decision based off of character, but I think I'm really going to. The evolution of Cody Rhodes and what he was able to do after he left the WWE and went on the Indies and was in Ring of Honor and then went on to AEW and then came back to the WWE, all while changing his hairstyle in the process. When I think of Cody Rhodes in his best, I think of blonde hair, bleach blonde Cody Rhodes. The blondie Cody Rhodes. Oh my god. Okay, so when we were going through this, I didn't want to pick a bunch of wrestlers that were just like long hair and bald because hair loss is a very normal thing. Hair loss happens to a lot of people. It's super common. And it's also a very difficult thing for a lot of men to have to go through. I think this one deserves a major call out because I think once Baron Corbin cut his hair, he really evolved into his own. People talk crap about him a lot, but he really is super talented. He's also multifaceted in that he can do various versions of his character. And he looks good with a bald head. He really does. I was at a SmackDown where they were calling him the Big Bald Wolf. I'm glad that he can laugh it off and roll with it, but dude looks good with a bald head. We're going with clean shaven Baron Corbin. Bella! Banger after banger after banger. I love Sheamus. One of my favorite times in watching Sheamus on TV was when he was in the bar with Cesaro. When I think of Sheamus at his best, I think of him in the bar. And in the bar, he had that mohawk, and that had to take some gel and some time and some patience, and I can't even say anymore. I love the mohawk. I dig the mohawk. Bring back the mohawk, Sheamus. JBL. I remember a few years back when the light bulb hit me that Bradshaw and JBL were the same person. I didn't know that for a long time. I think the APA is one of the most dominant and underrated tag teams of all time. They both had great personalities and did a lot of great things on screen when they were together. Bradshaw was a bad MF. He really was. And when I got back into wrestling around 2016, I had to do a lot of backtracking and finding out who the hell JBL was. And I would have never guessed that they were the same person. You know, you look at this version of JBL and you think mayor, you think politician, you think guy that runs a grocery store. You look at the other version and you think biker, gonna whoop your butt for talking wrong to his sister. I think it's safe to say that I definitely pick the black-haired version of JBL. Bradshaw. Oh, Edge. At the time of this recording, Edge just had his last match in Toronto and people are speculating on whether he's going to be staying with the WWE, whether he's going to go to AEW. I'm one of those people that I just want to wait and see what happens. As far as his hair goes, when I was a kid, I had the biggest crush on Edge with his long blonde locks and him being in the tag team with Christian, him being in the Brood, and eventually everything that happened, you know, we know what happened. I have quite the attachment to long-haired blonde Thor version of Edge, so we are going to pick the long-haired version. Edge is very much on a Chris Jericho kind of level where he has reinvented himself and he's been able to maintain his popularity throughout time despite having to retire for as long as he did. Edge is one of the greatest of all time. There's the same person. So Santina and Santino. Santina is a queen. Santina is an icon. We stand Santina. But that mullet on Santino, that version of him and, you know, John Cena and Baptista and pure comedic gold, underrated, severely underrated talent. I just like the mullet. I think that's ahead of its time. You know, like I said earlier, I feel like every 17-year-old boy right now that plays baseball would love that haircut. So we're gonna go with mullet Santino. If any of you have followed me on TikTok for a while, you probably wouldn't think that I would put this in here, but hottie haha. Yes, I did. Made up opinions of Shawn Michaels aside, that's for a completely different video. Shawn Michaels was a handsome dude. He was hands down a handsome dude. Both versions of his hair are fabulous. He eventually, his hair thinned out as well. That mullet is just, it's beautiful. It really is. It's very 80s. I feel like this is a 90s picture, or at least early 90s, and it's calling to me. While I love, you know, the longer hair DX version of Shawn Michaels, I feel like this Shawn Michaels with the mullet had a lot of different promise. His career could have gone in a completely different direction, and with everything that I've ever said or people think that I say about Shawn Michaels, we're going with mullet Michaels. AJ Styles. When I first started watching wrestling again, AJ Styles was on SmackDown, and it was the house that AJ Styles built. I didn't know a lot about AJ Styles in TNA. Now I know a little more, having gone back and watched since I got back into wrestling. AJ Styles is one of the few wrestlers on WWE television that wears his longer hair dry. A lot of people that have it longer, they wet it down before they go out to the ring so that it's, you know, not sticking to their face and crazy. I respect the hell out of him for that. It gives mom bob at sometimes. It really does give mom bob, but it's silky, it's smooth. He probably uses some silicone infused conditioner that makes it super silky and shiny. I'm definitely going with long-haired AJ Styles. Up until recently, I had totally forgotten that Chad Gable had long hair. These feel like two completely different people at completely different times, and they were at different times. But when I was first introduced to Chad Gable, long-haired Gable makes me think of like a hippie. I really got like hippie vibes from him. I don't think that was the vibe they were trying to give, but it's definitely what it gave to me, especially with the headbands that he wore. Chad Gable is one of those that deserves so much more than he's been given at the time of recording. He is currently in a feud with Gunther for the Intercontinental title. I don't know that Chad Gable will win the Intercontinental title, but I think more people are wising up and seeing that Gable is one of the best to do it. I hope the best for Gable. I prefer his hair short. I think it's more telling of who he is, and people are appreciating him more with it. Whether that matters as far as what I like or what I don't like, I don't know, but thank you. It's time to play the game. You might think I would say long hair Triple H. You might think I would say that, but I'm not. I love the version of Triple H that was running NXT, that got to show more of his real personality and that he could build something aside from his own career. I think it's very telling the respect that a lot of the talent has for him, especially since he's taken over creative. He also looks good with a long beard. The beard is beautiful. Trips is aging like a fine wine. We stan you daddy trips. I loved when Becky Lynch cut her hair. If you can't tell or you don't know, right now you probably can with the way her hair is. This picture you can't. Becky wears hair extensions. When she took them out and had her hair cut, it was giving Hayley Williams. It was very shag. If I had enough hair, I would have done it myself, and I was super tempted. So this is an easy answer for me. We are going with the shag. Not something you see very often, huh? We've got Dolph Ziggler. Baby Dolph Ziggler with his, two guard on the side, finger length on top with some gel brown hair. And then, the Dolph that we're used to seeing. A Dolph in his long hair is iconic. I can't pick a version of Dolph Ziggler where he doesn't have blonde, long hair. That is what I attribute him to. Seeing him without it is just weird, and I prefer it. Thanks for sticking around for my analysis of pro wrestling hair. If you have any agreements or disagreements with what you think, leave them down in the comments, or if you'd like to see me pick between other versions of professional wrestlers' hair, definitely let me know. Remember, I stream every Monday and Friday for Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown at 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/WheezyBlonde. Thank you guys. Take care. Love you. Bye.